Morning. It's Tuesday, March 15th, and something I read the other day, actually yesterday, talks about Putin asking China for help, military help, because the invasion of Ukraine is not going according to his plan and his view of what should have happened there. Obviously, he did not expect the Ukrainians to put up such a magnificent fight. And it's showing that Russia is not what he thinks it is. It's not what he meant it to be, and it's not happening the way he wants it to happen. Putin has now requested help from China. So we all know that China is the second largest economy in the world. So why? Why would they want to get involved in this Ukrainian situation and help Putin? Number one, they both want to take the United States down. That is probably only one of the reasons. Then you have China. China has a simple business model. They buy and import commodities, and then they make and they sell mass-produced goods, which they export to all the countries around the world. And that's important to their business model. They can't afford their business model to be interrupted. So they demand these commodities, and they demand that they continue shipped into China. And any disruption or significant friction to feed those assembly lines is a problem for China. China is the world's biggest exporter of mobile phones, computers, electronic integrated circuits, solar power panels and diodes, semiconductors, and automotive parts. But getting to be the biggest exporter also means you must be the biggest importer. And they are the biggest importer of commodity food products and natural resources, including oil and strategic minerals, which are produced in abundance in Russia and in Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia provide something like 30% of the world's wheat. So China needs those natural resources to continue their business model. And that is one of the reasons that they would listen to Putin's call for help. So given the fact that China is this manufacturer of goods for everybody around the world, they must wake up every day worrying about this list of food products and natural resources to keep their country running. And the interesting thing about this whole, what I'll call this laundry list or grocery list, is that 60% of all of these goods and services come into China via the sea. So China's economic security is dependent upon having all of these channels, like the Strait of Malacca and the South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean, free for their merchandise to get into their country. The products that they need to manufacture must be allowed to travel to them via the oceans and the straits. This is a serious problem for them because they have no real land route into their country for goods and services. That brings us to the situation with Taiwan. China recognizes the fact that if they take on and attack Taiwan, like what Putin is doing to Ukraine, then the U.S. and its allies will block the sea. They will close off all of the channels that deliver goods to China, and that would be a disaster. So Xi and China need to create a land bridge through Russia, that region of the world, in order to get goods, the oil, and everything that China needs to continue manufacturing. They need to have a land bridge, get goods into their country. That's where Russia becomes important. And China has an enormous investment already in Ukraine. So if this goes on, Russia wins that situation, then China expects that they would have not only the land bridge, but a much larger piece of the Ukraine. So the marriage of Russia and China is not such a crazy thought, I guess I will call it, because Russia has enough natural resources to keep China humming. China can figure out a way. That way is probably by faking some kind of attack on Taiwan, which would distract the United States and possibly other members of NATO from what Russia is doing in Ukraine, and that would manage to give enough of an edge to Russia so that they could win this battle. Because I know the United States and NATO is probably on the side of Taiwan and would do something to prevent it. So it's like a two-pronged attack. China goes after Taiwan and relieves the pressure from Russia in the Ukraine situation. I don't know if that will really work, but that's what the thinking is. The thinking is we have to distract the United States and NATO from what's going on in the Ukraine. Maybe that'll give Russia enough of an impetus, enough of an edge to win the battle. So Putin's asking China for help in some way, shape, or form. And we and NATO have to step up and give Ukraine more than they've gotten from us already. We've got to get them their planes. They need planes. They need that no-fly zone in order to survive. So I don't know if Russia really needs help from China, or if this is a subterfuge to get the United States and NATO off his back and out of the way. In any event, it also puts China in the crosshairs. But I don't know what they can do to China. It will take years to untangle the mess that we made of our economics by allowing China to become the world's second largest economy, by giving up all of our manufacturing and letting all of those critical elements end up in China. Now it's very important that we consider cutting a lot of that stuff from China, bringing it back home so that we become manufacturing independent. This would be a huge task. I don't know if we're up to it. So I leave you with that this morning. It's another piece of the puzzle. It's a huge puzzle. So I leave you with that. Bye.